Leif, the lineup that recorded Epicus, Doomicus, Metallicus fell apart afterwards. What happened?
We couldn't find a singer. That was the problem. Because we wanted Johan to continue in the band, but I think he was more interested in his pop project that he was involved with, and we really tried hard to persuade him, but he didn't want to. So we didn't have a band at that point. So we needed a guitar player, we needed a singer, and we didn't have the right people in Väsby at the point. Everybody was into UFO and Thin Lizzy stuff, and everybody was slagging us off for being really, really heavy, and we were basically the laughing stock of Plus Väsby, more or less. And the ball started to roll actually when Messiah phoned me. So it was from that point we knew that we could continue with the band. So that was a turning point actually. So things were looking pretty bad at the point, because Epicus wasn't selling very much and we didn't have a band, so things were not looking too good for Candlemass at that point. And then I got this weird phone call in the middle of the night, and it was this this person phoning me up. So that was the turning point for the band.
Yeah, speaking of weird phone calls, Messiah, you left your previous band Mercy, and the following day we spoke on the phone for 3 hours when you were playing me your acoustic songs that were supposed to be future doom metal classics. And you had two options in life, you said. Either to record these as Messiah or be the future singer of Candlemass.
Yeah, because I heard Epicus, Doomicus, Metallicus, and it was easily the best thing I ever heard. It was up there with my favorite Trouble albums, the early ones and stuff like that. And I was amazed that there was such a good band in Sweden. And I just thought that I have to get into this band. And actually, I remember that interview, and I know I was kind of strange, and then I think I had my first personal breakdown when I left Mercy, and I haven't been cured since, actually.
Oops.
So how do you react, Leif, when this guy kept calling you up all the time?
I thought it was a weirdo. It was right in the middle of the night, and he was just screaming on the phone, "Oh, I'm going to be your next singer." And I was really shocked. Because, I mean, Swedes are pretty, what's the word? Quiet, humble, mellow, relaxed, and this guy wasn't. So I thought it was just a crazy person, and I think he was singing Solitude over the phone, weren't you? I think so.
My stepmother was holding the phone, and I was playing guitar and singing, and he said, if you come up here, I was begging for an audition, and I said, I know this album backwards. It's no problem.
I was coming up with excuses actually. We got these singers, that we're trying. We didn't have any. So I thought it was a maniac and want to get rid of him. But one day he was phoning me up and saying, "Hey, I live here now. I'm living in your town." So I was like, "What?" So he actually moved to Upplands Väsby from his birthplace, Ronneby or whatever, in the south of Sweden, and just moved up to this little suburb right north of Stockholm. And there he was, so we couldn't refuse him.
He promised me if I moved up there I could get an audition, so I bought a 32,000 crown microphone, wireless one, and
it worked really good.
No, it didn't. But well, it did at first. But so I got the audition, and I remember they hadn't rehearsed, I think, since they recorded the album.
He was actually picking on us for not playing the songs very good. I do remember that. But we were pretty amazed, by his voice, because we never heard anyone sing in our rehearsal room, because we were playing really loud in the rehearsal room, and we have never heard any vocals there. We had a PA system, but I mean the other singers, we couldn't hear them because we were playing so loud. And this was the first time ever we heard what our singer was singing. So we were quite amazed, and he knew the songs, perfectly, all of them. So we were really amazed and thought he was, doing a really good job. So I don't think there was any question about it. I think we had a pizza or something after.
If I remember rightly, it took like a week or something. Mappy and the drummer, I think they wanted me right away, but you were the one who was thinking about it for like a week, so I was on stitches for a week. But I was really happy when I finally got it. And I remember I see your t-shirt there, Martin, with Candlemass, because I was begging them to give me a t-shirt, and they said, "Oh, we only have small ones." So I don't care, I can cut it out and I can sew it to a bigger one.
Yeah, you could cut the sleeves off, didn't you? Yeah.
But I was really a fan. I was a big Candlemass fan. It was a great album and still is.
At this point, you auditioned two other guys, Jan Lindh on drums and Mike Weed on guitar. However, it was only Jan that remained in the lineup. What happened there?
Well, we were actually looking for a guitar player at the point, because Mats Ekström was still in the band, and so we wanted a guitar player, and Mike Weed came down from the north of Sweden, and his audition was to record a demo, the Bewitched demo. So he brought a drummer with him, a friend. So I can't remember how it was. If Mats Ekström was kicked out right before they came down, it must have been that way.
Yeah, or maybe he didn't know about it or something. But I remember at this time we always went to the Hard Rock Cafe, and Hard Rock Cafe in Stockholm to drink. And before Janne Lind's, the drummer's audition, we went out and drank heavily. So he didn't make a very good job the first time, but then the second time he was really good. And we rehearsed really loudly at this place, so we couldn't really hear what it sounded like. It was...
Yeah, it was weird, because Mike was the lead guitar player, and we couldn't hear what he was playing. So, and we didn't want to turn it down, really. So he was in the band for a few weeks before we actually heard him. So that was kind of weird. And we thought it was playing too fast, I think. And we wanted him to slow down a bit, so we play with more feeling, I think.
I mean, he was already then a really good guitarist, but it was just that he was playing his solos fast and our music was slow. So when we were recording Nightfall, we begged him to play slower, and he didn't know what we were talking about. He got pissed off.
Yeah, so things weren't working out when we recorded Nightfall, so we needed a guitar player, and I can't remember where we found Lars.
Actually, it was Mike Weed who was bragging all the time about Lars, how good he was.
Yeah, and then I met you at the Hard Rock Cafe.
Exactly.
Yeah, I was screaming about the German vibrato.
Yeah, the German vibrato. Terrible vibrato. That's when you have a terrible hangover and it sounds like a violin when you... That is no good. And then Eddie said, "We are recording an album, Lasse. Why don't you come down, bring your guitar and take it away?" Like I said, interesting. Very interesting. Just like this, drinking beer in the bar, and was like, "Well, come on." And I listened to the tapes, and I've never heard anything like that. It was so slow and so heavy. I was thinking, God damn, I think they have the wrong speed of the machines here now. And I went down to the studio. I saw Ragnar Wahlqvist behind the mixing desk, which was really interesting.
With his funny hairdo.
And his funny shoes that changed color every day. I don't know what it was. And then I asked the guys again. They were all sitting there, all four, and said, "Well, guys, don't you think that there's something wrong with the speed on the machine here?" And they all looked really serious at me. "No, Lars, this is exactly the speed it should be." And I was like, "Oh, that's how slow it is." And then it was just plugging in. I remember I had this small 210-inch Gallien Krüger amplifier. I didn't have the Marshall with me at the time, and it was beefed up because we had a little trim pot inside, so it was like 300 volts in it or something. It sounded just great. And then with Ragnar's weird connections, I think he had like chewing gum between some of the cables, and he didn't solder it properly or anything. It was like sound. Oh, it sounded great. And then just on the tracks.
I was a bit skeptical about Lars at first, I remember, because I think I was afraid of you or something. You looked really stroppy and
I had an attitude problem.
You had a serious attitude problem.
I was always angry.
Because you looked really...
I think I was pissed all the time. Nothing was good. Not my guitar didn't sound good. Nothing was good. Everybody was stupid. I was like, everybody's taking up my time. But things have changed since then.
Yeah. Actually, it's amazing that Nightfall sounds as good as it does, because the studio we're recording at with Ragnar there, it didn't have any heat. It was freezing. I was doing vocals and I had to have big sweaters on and stuff. It was really cold. And,
like smoke out of your mouth.
Yeah.
Yeah, but, and it didn't come out as good as Epicus did. I don't know what the problem was, because he told us that it wasn't as dynamic as Epicus. So he thought that the Epicus record was so much better than the stuff we recorded for Nightfall. And he said that's why it doesn't sound as good. You know, the sound quality. And we thought, what the fuck has sound quality to do with the quality of the songs? So we thought that why can't we make this album sound really good? So we remixed it and we remixed it and we remixed it again, and it didn't come out any good at all. So we had to take the tapes, you know, away from the studio, and we found Lindh in Stockholm Recordings.
Dr. Lindh.
Yes. Pew. So he remixed it, and we were so amazed that for the first time we actually heard what the songs could sound like. I mean, the ability of the record were there, you know, at once, instantly when he started to remake. I thought, wow, okay, this is really neat. So that was a good move, I think. If we wouldn't have done that move, maybe we wouldn't have, come that far.
I think actually it was a challenge for Lindh as well.
Yeah, maybe.
He had never heard that kind of music through his mixing consoles. I mean, it was like pop and...
No, Stockholm Recording was a fucking home of Swedish AOR at the point.
Yeah, and then he had this concrete music.
All the Glory albums, all the Treat records were done.
Yeah, everything was like kind of buttery, by the way. But then this came, and I think he wanted to do a good impression to us as well.
Yeah, I think so.
Made it wonderful.
He did a great job. Fucking hell. So I listened to it, got the record right here. So I think there's nothing bad on this record.
No.
I'm really pleased with it.
We recorded Nightfall without a click track as well.
Yeah.
And I think on the later albums, Ancient Dreams, it was kind of stale. And I think that has to do with the click track.
Yeah, a lot of things.
And total lack of reverb.
Yeah.
And when we recorded Nightfall, this was before we went out playing gigs and stuff, and we were really hungry and really into it. Mm-hmm. And a few years later, things got out of hand.
Nightfall came out and got glowing reviews. However, some of those reviews weren't entirely true, were they?
I think they did a pretty good job, our little record company in London, because our manager knew these writers for Kerrang and stuff, so I think either he paid them or he threatened them. I don't know, but they wrote really brilliant reviews of the record. They used it as advertising. These reviews 99 out of 100, 4.5K in Kerrang, and I think 7 out of 7 in Metal Hammer, and
There's also one thing. What should they do? We didn't have like a video out at MTV at that time. And by the way,
so what
MTV
do? Do you lie,
have
of
it.
course?
Yes, of course. Everybody has to know.
Yeah.
They can't see it on
Except
TV.
for the band, of course.
Yeah, but
I just found out today.
Just found out.
I thought we were great for 15 years.
The truth hurts.
I
Or
can
shall
see-
set
I
you
can see-
free.
But I mean, to me, it doesn't matter because I think Nightfall is the best album we did. But I mean, Epicus is equally as good as well. So.
Well, I'm gonna frame this little
Yeah,
ad,
you know,
actually.
reading is believing.
Yeah. And they believed.
We did it as well, didn't we?
Yeah. There's power of it. It's beautiful.
At this point, Candlemass played live for the first time. Not in Stockholm, though. You went down to the town of Jönköping in southern Sweden, and you played in the assembly hall at a school. And it was kind of a strange gig because there were not a lot of people there, and they hadn't removed the tables from the assembly hall. And there was at one point there was a guy who stage dived, crushed his skull, and went up and started headbanging with Messiah,
Oh my
who
God.
got blood in his hair and all that. That must have been a totally weird experience, being a Stockholm band appearing live for the first time in this surrounding.
Yeah, an almost empty place with, I don't know, 80 people
And
probably.
this was even before Slipknot.
You
The
mean,
band Slipknot.
you mean when people crash into things and hurt themselves? Yeah. That was scary. I totally forgot about that thing. It was really scary. But I thought it was just a blast to play live, because I've been, dreaming about it for so long. Our first drummer didn't want to play live, so we never did it with Candlemass at first, because he was so scared of it. And now for the first time we were able to do it. We were a real band at last after all these years. So this was I don't know, 87 sometime, 87 summer perhaps.
September, I think.
Okay.
It was the first gig and the last gig I wore makeup. I wanted to look like Ozzy, so I put black makeup around my eyes.
I thought, what the fuck are you doing?
Actually, I ended up looking like an old prostitute. And I used to have a big iron cross as well. But after like a couple of gigs, I realized that when I was headbanging, it was hitting me in the head, this big cross. So I always had like big cuts in my forehead. So I had to
You
give
did
that
a Glenn Benton
I had
before
to-
Glenn Benton.
Exactly. Had to give that up.
Messiah, you also introduced the monk costume, which became the image of Candlemass.
Yeah, my nanny saw that for Sue made it for me, and I had it in Mercy. But I thought we were just starting out, and we needed to be different from everybody else. And with the doomy kind of music, and I thought it fitted real well with like a monk singing.
And you were also talking about being carried onto the stage in a fucking coffin.
Yeah, but we couldn't afford one, so
And we couldn't fucking carry you either.
I actually took up my coffin I had from Mercy
Yeah.
in the rehearsal room.
I thought it was a piano.
It was so big.
The sausage stand.
We never used it. It didn't look very good. It was too big.
I remember Janne freaked out totally because when we was standing up we couldn't see the drums. It was big like a fucking... I can't believe my eye. Actually, we were supposed to sell t-shirts in that once.
The biggest
What did
fucking
you have?
coffin I've seen. Oh my god. I forgot about that. Oh my god.
However, when you went on your first smaller tour with King Diamond in Scandinavia, Lars wasn't playing. It was Mike Weed again.
I broke my hand. I broke my fucking hand.
You did one of those really stupid things, didn't you?
I was late and I was jumping over a fence. Unfortunately, my hand was left on the other side of the fence and I fell. And there I was, sitting there with this.
It was like a week before the King Diamond tour or something.
Perfect.
Good timing.
I went heavily into drinking. Was the only thing I could do.
Yeah, thank you very much. We had to crawl back to Mike again and ask him if he could do it. And he knew all the songs anyway.
Can you do this horrible quick guitar solos again? Lasse just broke his hand.
But there was never any talk of
cool.
Mike rejoining at this point.
No, we were really happy with Lars, but I mean, I still, owe Mike for doing that. I mean, of course, he must have been pissed off with us for kicking him out, and he did us a great favor by helping us out with this. But maybe gained his career as well to be seen on stage on the King Diamond.
Now he plays with King Diamond, so.
Yeah,
he must have done something right.
First introduction. Yeah. No, but I must, officially thank King Diamond, here, because he led us on that tour. I think it was Messiah who phoned.
I sent him the albums and wrote letters and.
Yeah, and he took us on the tour, so we're eternally thankful for that, for a new, unknown Swedish band. And
I used to be in the Merciful Fate fan club. And the Kiss
really?
Yeah.
Shit, I didn't know that. No, that was a great tour. That was a blast. It treated us really, really well. And we actually, on the first night, we had more, success than King Diamond themselves, because they hadn't rehearsed. So we were actually getting more response from the audience than King Diamond. So I think the guys in King Diamond got some heavy abuse from the King. I think
it was the first time we played in Norway. We played 3 gigs Norway, in Oslo and Stockholm and Copenhagen.
Yeah.
And it was like very early on. Maybe it was like our 4th, 5th, 6th gig or something like that.
Mm. We went down really, really good on that tour. So that was a blast. I remember we had a van with the plate said 666 on it. So the first van we hired was like 666, and Jonas Åkerlund was the tour manager at the point, the famous video director. So he was our roadie, tour manager, everything on that little tour. So he did the first video as well, the Bewitched video. That was cool. And Jonas has always been a cool guy. So.
That was kind of a strange experience doing the Bewitched video.
Oh my god.
Playing a guitar solo with a casket on.
I remember going to the Hard Rock Cafe the night before the video shoot and asking fans to please come and do the video. And but we said if there's bad weather, snowing and stuff, don't do it. So
yeah, the first day there was no snow. The second day there was snow. So it's our version of Plan 9 from outer space, I think. It was, we couldn't believe. I mean, this guy will be, so famous for doing brilliant videos, and we got the worst of them all. So you couldn't really see his career coming, at that point. But it was a fun experience. The people at this park where we, it's a Drottningholm, the King's own park. They were so pissed off that because it painted on this.
We painted Messiah Marcolin, rest in peace, on the gravestone, and then it didn't come off.
Yeah, they were so pissed off. But well, nice experience anyway. Yeah. The days of fake metal is over at last. Poses apocalypse, the time has come to pass. In denim and leather, we are ready to attack. The past is now present, real metal is